Do you think a Bitcoin bear market has started? What about a crypto bear market, right? Everything looks so bearish right now. Even the Nasdaq is dropping and the SP 500 dropping. Well, what I want to tell you is, first of all, SP 500, the US stocks are not having a bear market, not right now anyway, because they're still like within 1% of the all-time high, even though it's pulling back a little today. But look at this, right? So Bitcoin, I have to say, is looking a little bit weak, and I want to put this in context, right? I mean, the previous low, this is a different chart, but the previous low was like 101K. That's when we crashed down to. And then we had this higher bottom, right? 103.5 and now 106K. But the problem is this, right? This chart, I've shown you guys before. I've shown it in Discord, but it's so important. I'm going to show it here again. Whenever gold tops, right? This was August 2020. Bitcoin went on a massive run. When gold tops, right? Bitcoin runs. When gold tops, Bitcoin runs. When gold runs, Bitcoin tops. When gold runs, Bitcoin tops. And we're here. This is August, right? Gold runs, Bitcoin tops. And what happens when gold tops, right? This was $4,380 gold. Well, gold has topped, right? Gold has topped. And let me just show you guys this chart. Right? I'm sure you have been, a lot of you have been following it as well. I cannot stress this enough. Gold's already trying to pull a bottoming tail here, right? It's already trying to do that. But look, even if this is a bottoming tail in the next 3 hours, the gold market closes, more like 1.5 hours, right? Closes. Even this is a bottoming tail, I don't think we go straight up. I think we still do something like this, right? We could bounce to as low as 3,870, 60-ish area. Why? Because of this channel. You can see the bottom of the channel is here. And you can see the top of the channel is this one here, right? So we could get there. Even if we don't, even if we just go sideways, as I've shown you guys before in a chart like this, that means, right, even when it just goes sideways, that means Bitcoin takes off. When it goes sideways, Bitcoin takes off, right? It's so simple. It's basically just that there's Bitcoin's digital gold. When gold pumps first, then gold stops, then digital gold pumps. It's pretty simple. Now today we're going to have also a look at Ethereum as well, and also at a small altcoin that's actually making all-time highs right now as we speak. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? It's something that Pablo has spoken to about a lot before, but right now it's basically having a crazy run. Even though the market is looking so down, it's still having a crazy run now. We're going to talk about that as well. So here, look, what's familiar about this Bitcoin drop? What is familiar about this Bitcoin drop? I have been comparing this Bitcoin drop to the May 2021 drop, right? Okay, so basically what happened in May 2021 was something like this. We had a chart pattern like this. Keep this in mind and look how similar the chart of May 2021 was. I'll probably put it on the Bitcoin chart, right? I've been speaking a lot about finding the range and how Bitcoin is basically just going to bounce between this range. Okay, so here is the May 2021 drop. Here. Right, look how similar this is. This was a big liquidity flush down as well, caused by Binance. And then we basically go bounce. Here's the range, right? Because that's the range of the drop, trading range of the day of the crash. We go up, then down, up, down, pinball machine. I call it a pinball machine. Like, it just goes ding, 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 right? Takes out the low and makes everyone panics. Takes out the low, right? And then also goes to the highs and makes everyone go long, go euphoric. And then they keep on chopping inside, and then finally break through. In fact, I drew this red line here, connecting most of the highs, connecting the lows here, and we have what's called a falling wedge. And it'll pierce the low a couple of times, making people panic, and then up we go. So that's roughly what I think is going to happen. Right? Let's see if this plays out or not. Something like a dip like this to 100K, maybe even 99K, right? People 99K, people panic, boom, and then up we go. The last time this played out, the bounces here were something like it took like 7 or 8 weeks before it finally bottomed and started taking off. So that since the crash happened on 10th of October, then that will take us to something like end of November, early December for the bounce up. I know it's a long time, but that's what happens every time after we have a big flash out. So basically, prices tend to go sideways. And let's have a look at Ethereum as well. For ETH, basically, something very interesting is happening on ETH as well. Well, when I say interesting, I mean we should really be careful. But before we get on to all of that, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo Jimenez use? Well, Pablo uses exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show any ID. So that means the IRS can't see you, right? The exchange itself can't even see you. The IRS, the tax office, FBI, CIA, nobody can see you, right? Total privacy. And that's why I made this deal with them. Pablo Jimenez exclusive campaign just on the Pablo link went up to $6,000 plus 2 ETH. However much ETH is going to be worth by then. Okay, so we can see you can get 20% deposit bonus, right? Just by depositing $100, get $20 just by doing some light trading, like 4K of trading, right? Deposit $500, get 20%, which is $100 as well, doing some light trading. Same thing, deposit 1,000, get $200, right? This deal is only available, right, on the Pablo Jimenez link, and limited time only, finishes on the 4th of November. 4th of November. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, that's okay. Just click on the description below. The link is in the description below. But if you're watching on any other platform, such as this one, that's okay. Just click on my profile page, and there's my link tree or Stan link. We click on that, and it should be the first deal that pops up because this is a great deal. Okay, folks, let's get back to the markets. And remember, this deal is only available on the Pablo Jimenez link, only on the Pablo link. Okay, so this is the situation with ETH. And ETH is king of the alts, so we really need to be careful. Now, what I don't like about this chart is this crash that happened 2 weeks ago basically took us through this major support that has held since April, since the bottom of the Trump tariff tantrums, right? We came up here and then boom, we broke it. Now, that's not exactly terrible. We can still recover from this because we've had these steep trend lines meant to be broken, and then they create a more shallower trend line, right? A more flatter trend line, supporting trend line, and that's okay. Usually that's okay. So some folks might interpret this as, say, we go higher low, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then as long as we avoid this area, we keep on making a higher high and then higher low, and then we're fine. Technically, that's still okay. And in fact, you could even argue this bull flag still holds. Or even some people might say, well, look, this was the higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So as long as we avoid this area, which is 2,000, then we can keep going up. But look, I think that's a bit extreme. I think the higher low is here, 3,362. I think we need to stay above there and keep going. One area that I think we should get tested on is this. So let me just put it on a weekly chart so we can see it better. This was the bottom in Ethereum, the bottom at $800 in 2022. Look at how many times, right, this has provided significant support for ETH, except this breakdown here. Then we reclaimed it, and now we're about to retest it again. And I do think we retest it. This is around 3,580. 3,580, boom, right? See the red line? That supported ETH all this time. 3,580, I think would bounce off that. And the blue line is also at 3,580. So there's a confluence of support levels. The blue line is what? The blue line of 3,580 was this top here, and provided a bottom support for Ethereum as well. So this is a pretty significant level, 3,580. Bounce off here, and I think up we go. What other evidence? What other evidence do we have about ETH that supports this view? So here is a chart of ETH spot volume and open interest. So usually, as we've seen, when there's too much leverage in the system, then basically the exchanges like to flush out the longs or the shorts, and by that I mean they either crash prices or do a short squeeze up. Depends on if there are a lot of shorts or if there are a lot of longs. And what we can see here is that this lighter gray line, that's ETH open interest, and has crashed, of course, because a lot of longs got wiped out. And that's actually a good thing for ETH price. And in a way, what we want is spot volume. To be more precise, we want a spot buy volume. And spot volume is kind of increasing, but the better news is that open interest or futures trading volume is down, so there's not as much froth and not as much speculation. So that gives me a hope that ETH can turn it around as well. ETH can actually bounce from here. But the biggest indicator is actually that Bitcoin can turn up from here. Why? Because gold has gone down. Gold has gone down a lot. So that gives us a chance. That gives us the chance that ETH. I've just shown you guys just now that ETH can make a move up. Okay, so what are some of the other charts we can look at? Oh, one thing I should say is that right now the most people. Well, this was a survey done just like a couple of days ago of the big institutional investors by Goldman Sachs, high net worth clients. They said, what's your favorite trade in Q4? And they said long gold. And of course, when it's a very crowded trade, gold tanks like 7%. That's a big move. 7 or 8%. That's a big move for gold in the last 2 days. And then guess what's one of their least favorite trades? Long Bitcoin, right? This is September. This is October, right? So this is September. This is October. So it's becoming the least popular trade right now, so which means Bitcoin has a chance to pop, and you know the it's just a matter of when it's crowded, chances are it'll do a big pullback or the move is finished. When it's not very popular, it has a very good chance of keep on running. That's just the old law. Now, one thing that I am staying very positive on. For blow off top, I still think there could be a blow off top in US stocks and crypto and Bitcoin and altcoins is because of this. Now, here's what's called global liquidity. It's a pretty simple concept. How much money is printed by all the world's countries' central banks? They couldn't tally all of the world, so basically they include all the major countries like the G7 countries like US, UK, Italy, Germany, Japan, and then other big countries like China and India and Russia as well. And right now, basically everybody is in the easing mode. You know how tightening means you hike interest rates and you do QT? Easing means everybody is easing. See this blue line, light blue line, right? This is where we are, right? This is where we are. So basically, everybody's easing except one major country. Okay, US has obviously been cutting interest rates, right? They just cut some last month as well, and now the Federal Reserve says they're going to end QT, so end of quantitative tightening, right? And more rate cuts. That's easing. China has obviously been easing because they have a huge property debt problem over there. They obviously have been lowering their interest rates as well. They've been doing some QE as well, just not as massive as what US does in a crisis. Like European Union has been cutting rates, Australia, UK, Canada, India, Russia, all these countries have been cutting rates. The one big one, and this is a really big one, you may not think so, but the one big one that has not and has been hiking interest rates is Japan. Japan, and you all know how important it is. Last year on August the 5th, basically a major crash happened because the Japanese hiked their interest rates and it caused the market to panic. It caused their reverse carry trade to basically end, and basically money borrowed from Japan that's in the US stock market or bond market is going back to Japan. But the good news, because so much money, it's something like $4 trillion, $3 trillion borrowed from Japan. So Japan is the liquidity engine of the US stock market, of the world, in a sense. The US is the bigger engine, but Japan's definitely number two. It's not even China, because China doesn't print anywhere near as much as Japan. And what's the news coming out of Japan? Without boring you, but they've elected a new female Prime Minister, Takaichi. Takaichi, basically the first female Prime Minister, and her measures are basically a fresh package of economic measures to ease the burden of inflation. And that is to give Japanese people subsidies for electricity, gas, and investment in strategic sectors, strengthen economy, security, defense, So in other words, I wouldn't bore you with the details. In other words, they're just going to print more money and give out more money to the citizens so they can fix up the inflation problem. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm not joking. They basically said, look, we will. They're not the only country. Australia did this as well. Australia said under Albanese said, okay, the inflation's too high. What's the key cause of inflation here? Electricity prices. Families are struggling under high electricity prices, so high electricity bills. So what they did was they send out these offsets, essentially subsidies for electricity. So, for example, if you're paying $500 in electricity, the government helped you, so you gave you money, so you could only be paying, say, $200 in electricity. So I know people make fun of it because you're trying to contain inflation by giving out more money to the average person out there. That's what Japan's doing now, following Australia's footsteps and example. And basically, Japan is this lady who they've elected is very much a person who believes in fiscal expansion. So which means giving the economy more money rather than tightening and taking it away. And what that means is this. Now you basically have every major central bank going to easy mode. And Japan is a big one. It's number two. Japan, even though smaller than China in economy, in GDP, but Japan is actually number two in terms of how much liquidity it provides to the US stock market and US bond market. China doesn't provide that much. So that's a big one, right? Both US has announced they're going to end QT, go into easy mode, and Japan's doing that as well. So that's a big deal. So and finally, let's talk about quickly, what is this one magical coin that is just making new all-time highs whilst Bitcoin is actually in a lot of trouble. We can see this is clearly a very strong coin, cup and handle, and then cup and handle. So this is what we call a cup and handle within a cup and handle, a small cup and handle within a bigger cup and handle, right? Here's the bull flag. We beat the bull flag, bounced off it, up we go. And here was the old high at 0.0091. And here we've got rejected from there, and then we got an above. And, in about 3 hours, I think we confirm a close twice above this area. And the market's not doing well today. Market is down in general today, just a couple of percent. But this coin, Wire, by the way, or 717 Capital, has actually made a new high, hitting almost 16 cents now. Hit 16 cents on this chart. New all-time high. So basically, during the dump, this coin has done really well. There are some rumors circulating. Some large VC fund is investing in them. As you know, I've interviewed the CEO, founder of Wire, just 1 month back. So I'm trying to get another interview with him and verify the news. It could be just a rumor. Look, it could be just a rumor, but I wonder why insiders or whoever knows the news has been buying and has been going up like this when everything else, Bitcoin and ETH, has been dumping. Don't you think that's strange? Okay, I'll keep you guys posted. Follow me for more updates. Catch you next time.